Entitled Mom Demands Access to My Pool. I had this rather amazing run-in with a choosing beggar last week, and boy was it entertaining. I'm renting a one-story house with a private swimming pool with my wife. The house is part of a small neighborhood of 6 houses in total, 2 of which are slightly bigger than the others, and have a private pool each. Those 2 are a fair bit more expensive for obvious reasons. Last week someone knocks on the door and I go to open it. Outside is a smiling woman with 2 kids. "Hello, I'm fuckface from next door. We thought we'd use the pool." Confused as hell and a bit stunned. "Oh, you did you?" I now also notice that they're all carrying towels and have swimming suits on. I don't really like lending it out, I'm afraid, so I think I'll have to say no. "Oh, but the rent gives me access to the pool when I want," said in a very smug way, as if she's calling me an idiot. "You're not paying the rent for my house, and I know *OWNER* doesn't include use of the pool in the contract. I know this because he's a close friend of my wife and I happen to be the one who wrote the contract, as well as having translated the guy's ads for Facebook and such. Well, it's in the lease, so you don't really have any choice, do you?" At this point I just ask my wife to call up the owner, and he confirms that he hasn't said anything about her being allowed to use the pool and that the contract doesn't mention it. I tell her this, but since she has kids I tell her that I'll allow her to come over to use the pool perhaps once a month, as long as she gives me 1 week's notice or so. This is not good enough for fuckface, who demands immediate access to the pool as well as future use whenever she feels like it. This of course results in me withdrawing my kind offer and her stomping away screaming about getting me kicked out. Later, the owner shows up, having heard her screaming through the phone, and warns her sternly that she will be kicked out if she makes any more trouble. I don't think she'll be staying here for long. Gets pissed dying child doesn't have to wait in line. Some of you may have seen this story in the comments on a Ruhaba video, but I'm also posting here at the urging of a friend. This is my first ever edit post, so I apologize if I do anything wrong. My baby brother was the victim of a horrible medical malpractice when he was 6 months old. This left him with progressive encephalopathy, aka progressive brain death, extreme and uncontrollable epilepsy, and to top it all off, when he was 5 they discovered he had cystic fibrosis. Obviously, a kid that sick wasn't projected to live long. Like many small children with a terminal diagnosis, when he was 5 his doctors referred him to Make-A-Wish, a charity that grants wishes to terminally ill children. Since my brother loved the local amusement park, my parents asked to take him to Disney World. Let me just say, more treats you right. We had a limo to the airport, a 2-bedroom condo in the Give Kids a World Village, a resort solely for kids with more, and passes to not only Disney World, but also to SeaWorld and Universal Studios. Random important tidbit, when you're with more, they give the Wish kid a huge button to wear to make it easier for staff places to spot families. My brother thought buttons were idiotic, so my mom wore it the whole trip. One of the activities they send families to while at Universal is a free dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe. We arrived at the cafe to find it packed to the brim. My older brother and I were super excited about eating there, 7 and 10 years old, so mom reluctantly waited in the line at the hostess stand to see how long the wait was. When the woman in front of us put her name in, also for a family of 5, she was told the wait time was 90 minutes. She huffed a bit, but gave in to wait. Having overheard the 90-minute wait time, mom had begun telling us we couldn't wait that long, and she was sorry, but we'd have to eat somewhere else. Spotting the huge button on my mom's shirt, the hostess immediately waved us over and grabbed 5 menus. "You're with more, right?" "Yeah, we are, but we can't wait that long." "No worries, we keep a table reserved for more families. We can seat you immediately." It was at this point that the woman in front of us, aka the M, overheard what was happening. "That's not fair." Stomps foot. "Why don't they have to wait? They're with more. We keep tables reserved for our more families so they can get the maximum enjoyment from their trips. If my kids have to wait, so do they." More foot stomping and huffing. "No, they don't. I say who sits when. They sit now. You have to wait. End of story." It should be the opposite of that. They already get a free vacation, and now they get to skip lines, too. That's not fair. Someone needs to give my sons a free vacation. Hostess, clearly fed up with M's bullshit. Tell ya what, when one of your kids is dying, I'll let you skip the line. Until then, be grateful you'll get to see your kids live to adulthood. And with that, the hostess promptly sat us and apologized for the woman's horrid behavior. Considering it was normally my mom apologizing for my brother's goofy behavior, she was completely stunned to have someone stand up for us like that. In fact, we were so well treated on our trip that my parents found a way to save every single spare penny and find the cheapest possible option so that we could go to Disney each fall for 1 week. I got to go a total of 4 times with my brother before he passed away at the age of 10, and I'm more grateful than words can say for the kindness and compassion we were repeatedly shown on our trips. The memories have and will last a lifetime. My homophobic entitled mother learns the truth about me in the best way ever. So I just found this Reddit and I was reading some of the stories and I was like, hey, I've got one. Well, here it is. My mom was, and still is, a crazy homophobic protester, like the one that's at a pride festival with an offensive sign. She even told gay couples they couldn't be like that because they might scar me. Anyways, this was the summer after I graduated high school and was moving on to college. I had a boyfriend, we are still together, and I always told my mom he was just a close friend. Then my mom told me we were going to go protest at a pride festival. I had had enough, so I began to think of a master plan. First I put on rainbow colored clothes, then put on some black pants and a hoodie, and made a protester sign with 2 layers, so I could peel off the first. When we arrived at the festival I took out my sign, and stood with the other protesters. Once my mom came over I ran over to the parade, took off my hoodie and pants, revealing the rainbow outfit. Man, I will never forget the look on her face. Then I peeled off the first layer of the sign which made it say, "Hi Mom." That was the best day of my life. My mom just walked away, got into her car and drove away. Even though I had to wait half an hour for my friend to come pick me up, I still remember that day as the greatest day of my life. Entitled parent thinks her child's entertainment is more important than my work. So I'm a college student in the upper Midwest, and you all probably know we got hit pretty bad by the polar vortex recently. This led to us missing an entire week of classes and falling behind pretty far on course content. Luckily, a couple of my professors were smart enough to post some recorded lectures up on our college's network, so we could listen to them on our own time. This is important because I decided to knock a few hours of this out at my local cafe, as classes were going to resume in 2 days and just listening to them at home sounded really dull. Might as well chow down on a chocolate croissant while you're being forced to listen to your professor ramble on about Western literature, you know? So I'm listening to these boring ass lectures on my phone and typing up an essay on my laptop. Then all of a sudden, a boy from the table to my left starts shaking his table. I'm a drama loving bitch, so I take out one of my headphones to hear this conversation. "Mom, the battery is dead." The mother sighs almost exaggeratedly loud and grabs a phone, I'm assuming hers, from this little kid's hands. She says something lowly to her kid that I can't quite hear, but whatever it was, her kid was having precisely none of it. He starts to throw a full-scale tantrum and is crying quite loudly. Instead of doing the responsible thing and taking her kid outside for a talking to, she scans the cafe briefly before her eyes land on me. I get embarrassed for a moment. I assumed that she had caught me eavesdropping on her mommy drama. I turn my eyes away and desperately hope she's not going to call me on it. "Excuse me." Well, fuck. I'm trying to think of an apology that I can give her without revealing that I don't really care. She interrupts me before I can. "Would you mind letting my son play on your phone while I finish up my lunch?" That wasn't what I was expecting, and it took me aback. I shake my head. "No, sorry," I say. "I'm really busy right now." She decides to pull out the most bitchy of all mom phrases. "Sweetheart, you've never been busy until you've had a kid," she sneers, passive aggression leaking from her tone. "It'll only take a few minutes." Sorry, no. I was not about to put myself behind for any amount of time for someone else's hell child. She glares at me, but doesn't say anything else. She grabs her still screaming child and leaves the cafe in a huff. I know that this isn't as bad as some of the other stories on this sub, but it still really surprised me that parents like this are an actual thing. I'm just hoping that I never run into her again. Mom forces me to be her child's boyfriend. Sorry if it looks weird, I'm on mobile. So I was in year 12, and I was texting my friends when the shy girl from science class sends me a message. We text for a bit longer, and I go to bed. The next day, I wake up, and my friend asks me why I'm cheating on my girlfriend. I tell him I'm not, and ask him who told him that. Of course, it was the shy girl. I text shy girl, and ask what she was telling people, but she said she didn't say anything. I make it clear that I don't like her, and we only saw each other like twice. I thought that was that, but oh boy I was wrong. I get an email from Shijit's mum telling me to stop bullying her 16-year-old kid. We emailed back forth for a bit. Me, I wasn't bullying her. I don't know what you're talking about, Ep. She told me that you texted her rude messages. Me, I just told her that I already have a girlfriend. Plus, she's 16. Why is she running to you? Ep, but she wants to be your girlfriend. Me, I already have a girlfriend, Ep. Well then she can be your girlfriend instead. Me, are you serious? After that, her mum kept sending emails that I didn't reply to, and I just ignored her for the rest of the year. Thanks for reading. This was one of the stupidest Ep stories from my life.